Hey, everybody, we are here for episode 9 of Love is Blind Denver. We have Megan and Jordan. They use baked but looking unseasoned chicken and water and Crystal Light is his smoothie. Remember, Jordan had told us about, chicken smoothies, and we wanted to know what that was like. And Megan, I'm with you. I couldn't. First of all, the chicken ain't seasoned, and I can't drink my chicken. I don't eat chicken anyway, but I certainly couldn't drink it. I feel you, Megan. So she said, I don't want to see this no more. He's like, you're going to have to see it for the next 50, 60, 80 years of your life. He drinks it, y'all. He said gritty and all. He drank it. I was like grossed out. But, sir, that's your diet. You know what? You could blend it up when I'm not even in the room. How about that? We see it's 14 days till the wedding. We see Allie and Anton. She said, like, every meal is like a pizza. Yeah, we're beginning the I'm not going to cook phase of this relationship. Nick and Annie, he is helping her with construction at her salon. He is there with his tool belt, and he is, I guess, putting up some like crown molding, it looks like, in her salon. I think she is a hairdresser. KB and Edmund, there's a delivery. He had something sent overnight, and he said, I want you to open it up. He got her rollerblades, y'all, so she could learn to rollerblade and be rolling with him. He teaches her in the living room. And y'all, in this scene, I also see Edmund clearly. Edmund is teaching her. He's very attentive. He is firm, yet gentle. I see a more calm side and the calm element to his personality. I'm seeing Edmund in a little bit of a different light. I'm not excusing anything he's done before. I'm not saying I didn't see him before, but I could see the other side of him. Song they play is You Are Ready to Take the Vow. Joe and Madison, they're riding around the park, y'all. They're two-person bicycle contraption, and they are both pedaling to get where they need to go. And he's looking around like he hoping nobody he knows sees him. He looking around through a little curtain thing like, oh, I hope nobody sees me out here. Megan and Jordan, they look at homes. Her price point is between 1.5 to 2 million. Did you hear me? 1.5 to 2 million. The house they were standing in has 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, and is in the 2 million range. He says, I don't know what we use all this space for. I said, I'm with you. I understand. But even for the 2 million, okay, the outside space is non-existent. Yes, they have a cool fire pit that's gas powered, but where's the grass? Where's the grass? Where's the area for a little garden? For 2 million? And even the privacy fence for 2 million? Oh, no. No. But every room has an ensuite. Every room does. He said, hey, we can move into the house and not change a thing because you don't put IKEA furniture in this kind of house. I said, I'm with you. I'm with you, Jordan. You cannot put IKEA furniture in a 2 million house. See, he said, but he does not want to be a financial burden and, with nothing on the table. He says there's too much house for what they need. And Megan looking like, no, it ain't, because she needs her this, she needs her that, she needs her, formal office, she needs XYZ. And I'm like, but you'll be in the house by yourself most of the time because he works away from the house. Okay? So she says, hey, we got it together. When I sell my place in LA, that's going to cover 1.5 million. And then we only going to need 500,000 on the loan. And Jordan is still like, Jordan like me is like, ooh, I'm feeling kind of like a heat. Could we stop? Could we bank that? If he could have done a $500,000 loan, Missy, he would have done that. He said, she does understand she doesn't want to go beyond his budget. And he said he was afraid to ask what the budget was. But now he understanding, y'all, that he should have asked the budget. But why are we afraid? We're talking about everything else in the pods. Why are we afraid to ask about money and the budget? Because it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. Jordan says, she doesn't feel like he's mooching off of her, but he feels like he's mooching off of her. It's hard for him to absorb that she will be buying them a house. And Jordan, if you can't get over this, y'all going to have some problems. But because he doesn't want her to step down to be with him, he said that. And if you continue to feel like that, it's going to be a problem. He said his son is also a part of her planning for the future, and he absolutely loves that. And that's what makes everything so special. But y'all, that money gonna be a problem. If he can't see it, that it's an investment in them, and she can't see that he can't, rise to her level, I don't know if they can meet in the middle. The song they play is Even on Worst Days, I Will Fight for You. And so we go to Annie and Nick. Nick's mom and brother and dad come. They talk about why, they chose each other. Mom asks about arguments. Annie's like, hey, we agree on the big stuff. So the little stuff and arguments, we'll get over them. So mom says, he's always wanting to fix things and he doesn't like conflict. He's like an old soul. Now, y'all, if you pay attention to this scene, mom is the matriarch. Dad and brother don't get much time to talk or say anything edgewise. Even when Annie left the room, Dad's like, I really like her personality. She'll fit in with the family. Mom cuts him off. Mom's like, I'm surprised how much I like her. Dad starts, marriage is a vow. Mom cuts him off again. And I'm like, okay. Annie cuts off Nick. Nick cuts off Annie. I wonder if Nick gonna be more like his dad. I wonder if Nick gonna be like his dad and mama just go and say, da 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 da. The bro barely said anything. So they do accept Annie into the family. The song they play is You Are One in a Million. 12 days until the wedding, Allie and Anton. She feels like there will be drama with the non-couples. And Allie is like, you can flirt if you want to. Because Anton is like, oh, I feel like I can't flirt. She's like, you can flirt. But she gives him this look like, it will be wild if you flirt. And if you do, I'm going to be up on you. And we never got to see the conversation they had about what Joseph, his friend, said. Okay, I see your production. So we get to the couples mixer. This is where the other people from the pods are going to come. Okay, Edmund rides the bull. He has a good old time. The Megan says that she met Jordan's son's mother last night, and she's like, it was chill. We were joking. It was normal. It was no tension between them or us. And the mom is more concerned and concentrated on the son just not being on camera. And they're very, very open to that and understand that. Allie says, we have not met family. We just met friends. I said, daggone it. And she brings up what the friend said about the strip clubs. I said, daggone it. Anton, you are being vilified over here. So he said it's been a year, but she does not trust him or the friends. So he comes home from work and has 1 or 2 beers every morning. Because remember, he works the overnight shift. But she does not want a partner who drinks beers every day and all the time. I need to ask, is it every day or is it every day he comes home from shift? I understand your concern, and I think you need to talk to him. Patrick walks in. Patrick! Patrick walks in. He tells them that she did text him and that she didn't want to do the show anymore. And Nick is like, it's not about the show. Y'all can still have a relationship apart from the show. Patrick is like, yes, she kept on saying she was not ready to see him. So Joe is like, she didn't even do a call. Patrick is like, hey, she said, just tell folks we're broken up, but we still talk. Nick is like, that's gaslighting. Patrick said he asked for the ring back. I said, ooh. Patrick said he asked for the ring back. And she stopped talking to him. She said no. And he acting like he's the only one hurt here. She keeping the ring. I did not know a ring was alimony for a relationship. That because you are hurt, you keeping the ring. Okay, this is not sounding. I'm going to need you, Casey, to step in front of the class. I need you to explain that. All these interviews, y'all are getting ahead of yourselves. Y'all aren't asking serious questions because y'all didn't even know she kept the ring. I need to know why Casey kept the ring. Netflix's ring, okay? So he's hurt, Patrick says, because this happened within hours of the reveal. She didn't even leave overnight. It wasn't, 2 or 3 days. It was within hours of the reveal that she did this and basically left the experiment. And now he feels it's about attraction more than anything. So Kate walks in. I said, daggone it. Kate looked good. But also with Kate comes fire. Because remember, Nick had said he loved her. Joe tells Nick that he's effed and go home now. Nick does hug Kate over the banister. They don't get too close. And then Anna walks in. And then Mike walks in. Megan said there's chemistry with Mike because they dated and she's not going to risk what she has with Jordan. Then Brendan walks in. I said, daggone it, fire over here, fire over here, fire over here. Now, Annie does say Brendan used to say he loved her and she was a priority, but she wanted him to fight for her in the pods. And tonight she knows she made the right choice. Oh, she took one look at Brendan before she even met him, hugged him, or shook his hand and said, I made the right choice. Jordan tells Brendan, hey, let it go that Annie and Nick are great together. And Brendan's like, I don't see it. I was like, daggone it. Are we going to have Mr. Steal Your Girl here? Now, Jordan and Megan, they talk about coordinating the sparkles and the tattoos. And I said, daggone it. Why we got to coordinate the sparks and tats is what she calls it. Please let's not have t-shirts with that. Mike and Megan do go talk, but Mike does ask Jordan, hey, can I speak to your girl for a little bit? I thought that was very respectful. Mike does ask her to dance, and Megan's like, mm-mm. Now, Mike does share that he thought the sparkles were more tacky, and he does apologize for making her cry, and he regrets walking away. Megan also said, you walking away tells me, are you going to walk away in the real world while we're married? He said, no emerald cut ring. She's like, no, they didn't have any. He said, I would have bought you one anyway. I said, nah, Mike, what are we doing? Are we shooting our shot? Are we trying? She's like, there's none available. He's like, I would have bought you the emerald cut ring that you wanted. He said he was tempted to, hit her up in the DMs, but he didn't want to be disrespectful, but that is his cocky side. And I said, Mike, it's showing up right now. When you saying you would have bought her the ring that she wanted, you're being on that side. You're trying to show up Jordan with your money. She said, hey, that's the side she was scared about because her exes were like that. But she doesn't know if she can trust him to be faithful. She doesn't know if when she's away for a week in LA that he would be faithful. She's like, we make sense on paper and career-wise, but she does not think she made a mistake in choosing Jordan. I did like that interaction, but we saw Mike's little toxic side come up. Mike, I'm seeing you. Patrick and Anna chat, y'all. I was like, ding, 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 ding. This is the main event. She says she feels bad for not saying anything when she left. But she left because she was struggling in the choosing with him and Blake. But then she saw he got engaged and said, oh, he gonna be okay. He's like, it was gonna be you. She's like, you can't say that. How? When you got engaged with someone else. You proposed to another girl. Patrick's like, if you were there, it would have been you that I proposed to. She's like, it's not fair to say that when it wasn't what happened. Anna, child, I'm going to need you to chill. I'm going to need you to chill. Okay? He found someone like how people find in real life. You know how people find each other in real life and like, oh no, they left. Oh, I can't be with you now. The person moves on, finds someone, has, marriage or whatever. And then they go back to their high school sweetheart, whoever that was, or they find each other later on in life. Y'all just happen to be later on in life is just 2-3 days or a week. That's just how it is. So, okay. She's like, if I was on your mind, you wouldn't have proposed to another. And she says she cried when she left. But if he was on your mind, you wouldn't have left without saying anything, Anna. I didn't like Anna in this interaction. I really didn't. I understood her. But the same way Patrick brought up, the same way you had 2-person thing, you were choosing between me and Blake, you still had the 2 people there. If I had left, basically he's saying if I had left, you would have chosen Blake. If Blake had left, you would have chosen me. It's the same thing. She's like, but I didn't tell anyone that I love them. I said, Anna, now we're moving the goalpost. I didn't tell him I love them. I didn't, do this. I didn't do that. He said he would have proposed and then maybe she would have been no at the altar. And I'm like, why is she so cold though? Anna's real standoffish. Real standoffish to him. She's the one that left. She's the one that put him in this position to even have the option of another person. Or even not have an option to be proposed to. She left, yet she's the one mad at Patrick. I don't get it, y'all. Y'all tell me why. Tell me why in the comments. Why is she mad at Patrick? Anna says, tells the people around her that Nick is perfect. Nick disagrees. Edmund is there and said, oh my God, it's wonderful to hear. Even if it isn't true, it's wonderful to hear. And then KB steps up and like, what are you saying? What would be wonderful to hear? And he's like, well, and he just kind of shrinks within himself and like, well, Anna said that Nick's perfect. We know he ain't perfect. She's like, admire, don't compare. KB, calm down, girl. Your claws are showing. They're showing. I'm sorry, it's showing. She's like, you make it sound like I'm not doing enough. He's like, hey, sometimes he doesn't hear enough positive things about him. She's like, and here's where you're going to bring it up. You know, you were pushing for an answer. Here's where you're going to bring it up. He didn't bring it up. It's something that Annie and Nick were talking about. He observed it and he just said, hey, it'll be nice to have that in my religion. He didn't bring it up. Oh my word. Chill, KB, chill. He didn't want to bring it up, but here she is, keep on pushing it. He's like quiet. She's the one, da 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 da. So she's like, I've been cheering you on, I've been vibing, and I told you I cared last night. He's like, okay, but it's tonight. I haven't heard anything all day. I'm not saying she didn't, but I'm just putting into context what he's saying. He said, he started to say that he didn't hear anything nice that day. She says, something went wrong, and he doesn't even know what it is. She's like, well, what went wrong? He's like, well, you came in saying everything was wrong, or you started everything was wrong. She's like, and that's the problem. You don't know what's wrong. And I'm like, sometimes you have to tell your partner, no matter who they are, what exactly is wrong. Don't have them guessing. I don't like guessing. I don't like making you guess because I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm going to tell you, this is what I feel about this. Don't have him guessing. So he follows her to the table. And he starts off by saying, hey, I love you. And she cuts him off. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. He says, okay. He's trying to say something again. I don't want to hear you talking like this. He's like, you know what? Then I'll listen. If I can't speak, I'll just listen. And she's like, I need you to be an adult. And I'm like, stop cutting him off, KB. You're not exhibiting adult behavior either. So she wants him to speak. And when he starts to speak, she cuts him off. She's like, I just want solutions. I don't want to hear this whole, I love you, I love you. I just want you to solve this. He can't solve it. He's trying to start off by bringing you down a notch with the I love yous. Now he's trying to say I love you. He's trying to give you what he wants. And you don't want to receive it. Understood. So every time she keeps saying, I want to have a grown conversation, I said, you are emasculating this man. You are minimizing him. And then he walks away and he's like, because she told him to walk away, he's like, KB, maybe you need to separate yourself from this right now. She's like, no, I ain't moving anywhere. You walk away. And he goes. And she calls him a fool. Calls him a fool. I don't know if he heard it or not, but he goes to the fellas and he says, I am done. Not done with the whole program, but he's like, I think she done with me, or I'm done in her eyes. So Jordan tells him, hey, be accountable and go walk back and talk to her. Now we do see that Nick is talking to Kate. They are having a conversation. He apologizes. He apologizes for not being more direct. She did feel misled since he, took back his love so quickly. And she does point out, he said he could not get there with his other connection. He's like, I never said I couldn't love my other connection. He said he was upset that night because of how he talked to her, Kate. But he, did tell Annie that he was in love with Kate in the pods. She was surprised that he even said that. And Nick says he wants them to have respect even if they're not buddy-buddy. Kate's like, we cool. Allie tells Annie the story she heard from Kate about how Nick was in love with her and loved her and all that. And Annie's face just drops. And when Nick comes over, she turns around and gives him her back and she ignores him. Everything he says, she ignored him. Joe does make fun of Nick. Okay, he says he's a great guy, but he ain't my guy. He ain't my friend. And I was like, Joe, we need to stop drinking at these events. Madison and Kate are talking, and Kate thinks that Nick is fake. She's like, that's why she ain't rumbling, because he fake. Madison's like, Joe told her that he wants to get her pregnant. Joe is also telling us he ain't attracted to you. So Joe telling you that is just to appease you, Madison. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the one to say it. I'm sorry. Joe still don't want you. Anton says that he tells Allie that he's telling folks everything's all good. Allie says, was she telling the truth? Because it ain't all good. I said, daggone it. And KB comes back and tells Edmund not to talk to her. Because she left and went to the bathroom, came back, and Edmund, taking Jordan's advice, decide to be accountable and approach her. She comes back and she's like, don't talk to me, and walks right by him. And the song they play is Feel a Change in the Air. And y'all, that is the end of episode 9. I thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.